This is the time where I bought a holy boat. This is your boy Ben here from Out of the Hat Videos. We got a story time with Ben for you today, and we have a great story. It's hilarious. It's something that happened to me about, I'd say probably 5 or 6 years ago, but I will never forget it. This boat had holes in it, and I literally thought that it would float, even with these holes in it. So here's the story. Here's how it begins. So me and my wife, we lived in Mingo Junction, Ohio. It was a little small Ohio town, really close to the river. So the Ohio River was, we always went there and played and fished and whatever. So, but I always wanted a boat. Never quite had enough money to buy a boat. Never, so I always had to settle for, just fishing from the bank and whatever. So, but one day I was driving to work and I looked over on the left and I seen this paddle boat. No, it wasn't a yacht. It wasn't a 14-foot Bassmaster, but it was still a boat. So it had a for sale sign on it, and I must have drove past this boat probably 3 or 4 times a day until curiosity got the best of me. So one day I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm gonna go to work early, and on my way I'm gonna stop and inquire about this boat. So I purposely left work about half an hour early that morning just for the purposes of stopping at this house to ask about this boat. So I get there and I knock on the front door, and the guy comes out, and I said, hey, I noticed you have a paddle boat sitting out front with a for sale sign on it. How much are you asking for it? Because the for sale sign didn't have a price. And he looked at me, he says, oh no man, that's my son's boat. You need to ask him. I was like, was he around? And he said, yeah, he's out back. So I walk around the back of the house and knock on that part of the house, and he comes to the door, and I said, yeah, I was driving by and I seen your boat out there. How much you want for it? He says, $100. I said, okay, $100, all right. So I said, can I look at it? And he said, yeah. So upon looking at it, I flipped the boat over, and there was these big holes drilled in the bottom of the boat. There must have been 30, 45, I mean, the bottom of that boat was riddled with these holes. And I looked at him, I said, what's with the holes? I said, why is there holes drilled in the bottom of the boat? And I was in the Navy, so you figure I'd have better sense not to buy a boat with holes in it. But this dude was a smooth talker, and he looked me straight in the eye and he said, well sir, that's because there's a separate watertight compartment that has to fill up with water to stabilize the boat. And me being an idiot, I was like, oh okay, that sounds about right. So I bought the boat, I gave him $100, I put the boat in my back of my pickup truck, and that was it. Well, that boat sat in my garage for probably a good month, and my wife told me every day that boat would not float. She said, Ben, why would you buy a boat with holes in it? I'm like, babe, it's fine. It's fine. It's got to fill up with water to stabilize, and then once that compartment stabilizes, then we're okay. How else do you think it's gonna float? And my wife just looked at me and she's like, you are dumb. Like, why would you buy a boat with holes in it? Why on God's green earth would you buy a boat with holes in the bottom drilled into it? And I would fight her on it all the time. I'd say, babe, we just need to go take it out, check it out, test it out, then you'll see that I'm right. So finally, a good weather, warm, nice day came around, and I told my wife, I said, hey, let's quit talking about whether this boat will float or not, and let's go see if it really will, so I can prove you wrong. And she goes, oh God. She was totally against it. In fact, she was so embarrassed. She did not want to even be a part of this, but I think it was her love for me that kind of let her push past that. So me and her got in the truck, and we loaded the boat up in the back of the truck. We went down to Dairy Queen in Wellsburg, and we got some grub beforehand, and we headed to the river. And we get the boat off the truck, we put it in the river, we get into it, and Donna the whole time, like my wife, she's just like over there in the passenger part, like just like, oh God. So, and I kept telling her, I'm like, babe, everything's fine, this will be okay, So, anyways, we're on the river at this point, and I'm munching down on my Dairy Queen sandwich, and we're eating. And I noticed, like, very slowly that the water level starts getting, higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. And it eventually got so high to the point where Donna bails. She jumps out of the boat. She goes back to the river. She goes back to the bank. And thank God we weren't, like, in the middle of the river. We were closer to the bank to begin with. But it got to a point, like I said, Donna bails. She's like, nope, forget this, I'm out. Now it's just me in the boat, and I'm sitting there thinking, I was in the Navy, I got this. This boat ain't going anywhere. She just got cold feet. She got scared. She's mad because I'm right and she's wrong. So I'm sitting there, and I'm still in denial. I'm still in denial. At this point, it's just me in the boat. Donna, she's on the bank laughing at me, yelling at me, telling me to get out of the boat. It's going to sink. What are you doing? Why are you still in the boat? And she's, yelling at me, hey, get out of the boat. What are you doing? You're going to die. It's sinking. Like, what are you doing? And I'm just telling her from the boat, I got this. Just eat your sandwich. Whatever. You're missing out. Well, then reality began to sink in. Sink. No pun intended. The water level at this point has gotten up to my stomach, and I'm sitting in the boat because it's one of them, paddle boat things. It was one of them boats where like you'd see on a pond where two people sit in it and you use your feet to paddle. So at this point, I'm sitting on my side, water level's rising, it's up to my stomach now. And I think it wasn't until the moment when I realized the front of the boat was like this, and it was going under. That was the moment that I was like, okay, dang it, my wife was right the whole time. I gotta bounce. I gotta bail because if not, I'm gonna be in the river anyway. So I accepted defeat. I accepted the fact that I was proven wrong, and I bailed too. I bailed, and I went back to the bank, enjoying my wife. And as we both stood there watching the boat just kind of sink further and further into the river, we began to laugh. All we could do is laugh at that point. I'm soaking wet. My wife isn't too wet because, like I said, we were already kind of close to the bank. And to add insult to injury, there was a bunch of onlookers that had gathered to watch too. So there was a lot of other people that were complete strangers just watching and laughing with us. So after the show was over, everybody kind of left, and me and Donna found some rope, and we were able to fish the boat out of the river. And we got the boat back on the bank, and we loaded. We drained the water from it, put it back in the truck, and the whole way home, Donna was just like, "Told you so, told you so." So, and if you guys want to know what happened to the boat, long story short on that, a couple months went by after that, and I took it to my dad's, and we put that fiberglass like Tiger Bond stuff and fixed it up, and we've repaired all the holes with the fiberglass, and we ended up selling it to a fella. I think he was either in like Wheeling or Warwood, somewhere out there. But so yeah, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys thought this was funny because it was a true story. Yeah, we all do dumb things in our life, so that was mine. And so see y'all next time.